Hello guys, so as you see, I have made this video to help you out understand the topic of relative pronouns. If you remember, in the last class we saw what relative pronouns are. And basically, they are words that we normally use to join two ideas or to talk a little bit more about the characteristic of a person, an object, or a place. So right now we're going to see some examples, and as well we're going to remember how they are used and which of them are used for a specific purpose. Let's focus on the first one. And first we're going to talk about the relative pronoun who. You can see right now that who is used for people. Okay, in the case of who, we're going to use it to describe people, to give more characteristics about people. You see over here, we have a little example in which we have a dentist is a person who fixes our teeth. Okay, who fixes our teeth. That means that a dentist is a person that has the characteristics of fixing their teeth. Really simple to understand. Let's look at some examples. You can always use who with phrases like these ones. You can use the following pattern to know how to create a sentence. First, you can always start the phrases with who with any of these phrases. Like, for example, this is my brother, this is my sister, this is my cat, this is, well, not this is my cat, but this is my father, this is my best friend, etc. Or a doctor is a person, a teacher is a person, a student is a person, and many others. This is a person that, or this is a person who. I don't like people, or I don't like people. You can always start sentences that include relative pronouns with any of these phrases, okay? With any of these phrases similar to this one. You can change, like for example, here instead of saying brother, you say sister, father, as I was mentioning, or here instead of saying doctor, you can say teacher, lawyer, nurse, whatever profession that you can imagine. And over here, you can use the following as they are. Like for example, you can always say this is a person, I don't like people, or I like people. Then after that, you are always going to use the word who. Okay, who. Remember that we use who to describe people. In this case, since all of them in the sentences that we're describing are people, we're going to use who. And then you need a complement, okay? A complement. Notice that in this case, the complement, first we have a verb that is in present, okay? And then we have any word you want or any complement you want. It is important to keep it in mind because it's going to help you out to determine a little bit more about the characteristics you want to give about these people. Because remember that we are talking about people who do something, people who can do many things, people who have these characteristics, okay? And we have the first example. This is my brother who lives in Canada, okay? Who lives in Canada. We are giving a characteristic about my brother. That's his characteristic, he lives in Canada. A doctor is a person who helps sick people, okay? That's his characteristic, that's what he does, that's his job. This is a person who drives for Uber. In this case, we're giving as well an example of what this person does. I like people who are honest, another characteristic of these people. And I don't like people who judge others, okay? Judge others is another characteristic of these people. Now let's move on to which. Elephants are wild animals which live in the jungle. As you can see over here, we're going to see the definition of which, and it's used for animals. This is one of the for which, but we had another one. Remember, when you want to give a characteristic about an animal, or you want to talk about a specific animal, you use which. As well, you can use which for this. The letter which are on the table are for Emma. Which is used for things, okay? Which as well is used for animals and for things. So whenever you want to describe an object or an animal, you are going to use which. Let's take a look at some examples, and we have this one. As well, you can start any sentence that you will create with which with any of these phrases. They are really similar to the ones that we have. Like for example, you can say this is a desk, but instead of a desk, you can change this word or any word you want, like this is a cell phone, this is a house, this is a room, this is a notebook, okay? Or over here, a notebook is a tool, you can change this word and this word. And instead of saying a notebook, you can say, for example, a calculator is tool, or a fan is an object, etc. Then we have that is the cat, and I don't like dogs, and I don't like animals. So you see, these two are to describe objects, these three are to describe animals. So you see that we can use which for animals and objects. For example, that is the cat. Instead of saying that is the cat, I can say that is the dog, that is the elephant, or I don't like dogs, or I don't like tables, or I don't like TVs, or I don't like these ones. And you explain which characteristics, or many of these ones. So you can change all of these words that are in yellow, you can change them for other words, and you can use the structure that you have over here. After that, you include the word which, okay? Which, that is the relative pronoun that I use for objects and for animals. And after that, you have the complement. And as in the other case, with the pronoun who for people, we can start with a verb.
What we do here is go back.
And then after the verb, you can have any information you want. We have this example. This is a desk which was used by my brother. We're giving a characteristic about this desk. That means that there are many other desks probably in the house, but this one is different because it's the one that my brother used. A notebook is a tool which can be used to take notes, okay? Which can be used to take notes. I'm giving a characteristic about a notebook and explaining what is it used for. That is the cat which escaped from his house. I'm giving a characteristic of this cat because there may be other cats, but this is the one that escaped from his house. I like dogs which bark all the time, okay? Which bark all the time. So that means that you like the kind of dog that are always barking, making noise, etc. And I don't like animals which are dangerous. You know that there are animals that are not dangerous, like the ones that we have as pets, but there are others like what animals that are dangerous. Therefore, we are describing them with the word which. Now, let's talk about that. That, and you see that we have the same three sentences that we use in the same first examples. A dentist is a person that fixes her teeth, okay? Elephants are wild animals that live in the jungle. The letters that are on the table are for Emma. You notice that these examples, the first one had who before, and these two had which before. So what happened? Well, that we use that. And that can be used for people, animals, and things. So that can be used for any sentence that you want to create and can be used to replace either who or which. So in a sentence, if you want to use which, instead of which, you can use that. And if you want to use who, you can use that instead as well. So we can use that with the phrases like this one. So notice that these are the same phrases that we used before. We have, this is my brother, a doctor is a person, this is a person, this is a desk, and this is a notebook. Who. And you notice the only difference is that instead of using who or which, we are going to use that. For example, this is my brother that lives in Canada. Here in the original sentence, we have the word who, but it is okay. You can use who or you can use that to describe people. A doctor is a person that helps sick people as well. You can have who instead of that and it will be the same. This is a person that drives for Uber. Instead over here, you can have who and it's going to be the same sentence. This is a desk that was used by my brother. Instead of that, we can have which because a desk is an object. So you can have, this is a desk which was used by my brother, and both of them mean the same. The notebook is a tool which can be used to take notes or that can be used to take notes. So you notice that you can use that for either of the cases. You can use it as well, as I was mentioning, to talk about people, to talk about animals, and to talk about things. That is the use for that. And finally, we're going to talk about where. This is the hotel where we stayed on holidays, and where is used for places, okay? We can use where for phrases like this one. You can have, this is the place, a school is a place, and as well, for example, over here we can change this word on this format. We can change this word, or we can change something over here, we can add something, and we keep these ones like they are. Like for example, this is the place where you notice that in all of them we're going to use where because we're defining a place. You find nice shoes. Notice that we have a complement, but the difference when we are using where is that we are going to have a subject first in all of them, okay? We're going to have a subject. In the last ones, we had a verb after the relative pronoun. But over here, we're going to have a subject and then you can have the rest of the complement. This is the place where you find nice shoes. In this sentence, you can change the word, the place, for any other thing. Like you can say, this is the school, this is the restaurant, this is the mall, this is the city hall, this is the park where you can run with your dog, or this is the mall where you can find cell phones, etc. A school is a place where you learn many things, okay? A school as well can be changed, and you can say hospital is a place where you can heal yourself, or a restaurant is a place where you can eat, or a hotel is a place where you can stay, and many other examples that we can think of. That is the place where I found a dog. Okay, we can keep this sentence like it is, and in that case, it's going to make sense. Or we can say, that restaurant is the place where I met your mother. Or that street is the place where I was stolen from myself. I like places, and in this case of these two, we're going to keep them as they are, and we're not going to change anything. We can say, I like places where you can take pictures, or I don't like places where trash is on the floor. The difference is that one. We're going to use a subject first, and then we're going to use the rest of the complement. In the other ones, we use first the verb, and then we have the complement. But that is something that we should keep in mind. But remember, to make a short summary of it, who is used for talking about people and giving more characteristics about them, which is used to talk about objects and animals as well. That is used for either talking about people, objects, and animals. And finally, we have where to talk about different places. And with that, we're going to finish the explanation. I hope this video has been helpful for you. And if you have any question and doubt, let me know and I will gladly help you out. And thank you very much for your attention, and I will see you on the next class, guys.